All right, Pax Soprana, episode 6. The show's really settling into itself. I really like this one. I might even like it more than the last one, which I know I said is my favorite episode so far. I think it's been juggling a lot of tones, this show so far. It's kind of been all over the place. It's been funny at times, it's been dark and violent at times, it's been, very, very family drama based, it's been very, very kind of gangster drama based, it's been focusing on teen stories, it's been focusing on adult stories, it's been focusing on sex and violence and all this stuff, and it's taken a while for it to find its footing, I feel like. In this episode, they finally did it. This is just Tony going about his days, kind of. Well, I guess his weeks, because he visited the shrink a couple times. And anyway, this episode. This is the episode where Tony's having sex problems, maybe because of the Prozac. We see the various, women that he's attracted to in his life. He's got his wife, he's got his shrink, and he's got his girlfriend, and it's really just hanging out with Tony throughout all these various conversations. And Gandolfini is just fun. He's really settling into the character. He's performing. It's starting. I can see why this is Gandolfini's claim to fame. This is why people love him so much. This is the first episode where he stopped being James Gandolfini playing Tony Soprano and just kind of became Tony Soprano for me. So that's one story going on is Tony's having sex issues, and he actually tells his shrink that he loves her after a few different dream sequences. One of which I really love. Tony kind of it's clearly a dream immediately because he's sleeping and then this loud song starts playing and Tony's actually mouthing the words of the song as he gets a blowjob, and it was just really happy. I don't know, it was just a fun scene. I actually laughed a lot this time. There were some really good lines. I just enjoyed hanging out. It wasn't really a jokey episode. It was just amusing. I'm starting to really just enjoy hanging out with Tony. Michael Imperioli was missed this time. Last couple episodes, not enough Michael Imperioli, but that's fine. I know he gets an Emmy at some point, so I'm sure he'll have more standout scenes. That's what's going on one side of the story. On the other side of the story, we got Uncle Junior is kind of overstepping his bounds a little bit. As the new boss, he's edging out. Not edging out. He's changing the game, changing the rule books. He wants Tony's Jewish friend to start kicking up a vig, which apparently he'd never done before. Way back when Tony's dad was boss, he's never paid anything up to the new guy. But now Tony's uncle wants him to. Uncle Junior. Uncle Junior has a drug dealer killed, which screws up one of the other bosses, one of the other heads of one of the other families' business, because that drug dealer was bringing in major money. And there's a lot of really good interplay and kind of behind the scenes politics. A lot of good talks about how this organization works, and they actually have a scene where one guy says, "Man, you are still running things, aren't you, Tony?" Which I really like. He's very, very smart about how he does things. The politics, the dealing with the egos, and whenever there's a problem, they don't go to Junior and say, "Hey, boss, we got a problem." They go to Tony, and then Tony's got to find a way to maneuver things to make it seem like they didn't go to him first, because that'd be majorly disrespectful to go above Uncle Junior's head and go to one of his lowers. So that was all really cool. I really, really liked seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff. And then in the finale of the episode, there's some kind of banquet dinner where everybody's there. Not all the family, but all of the gangsters are there. All the heads of the various families are there. And they give a toast to our new leader, our new boss, Junior. And one of the waiters has a name tag with a little camera on it. And everyone starts to get the picture taken. The episode ends with a police investigation. Probably the FBI, I would assume. And I really like the fact that they're finally bringing in the fact that the cops are, researching this. They're deep into it, There's this great moment at the very end where, I think his name was Frankie, the guy who died of cancer. His picture gets taken down off the wall because he's not the boss anymore. And Uncle Junior's picture, where it says Capo, they mark out Capo and move him to the top of the board, and now he's the boss. And that's pretty cool, obviously. It's a very obvious metaphor. Obvious visual, I should say, not a metaphor. But it's true, because he is. But right underneath Uncle Junior is Tony, who's the real boss. And I'm curious how much the FBI knows about that. And I like the fact that we're about halfway through the first season, and now we're getting into the fact that there might be some jeopardy outside of the fact that they live every day in jeopardy because they're gangsters. There might be some outside jeopardy coming from the police. So maybe the second half of the season, maybe that's what this lead-in is for. The second half of the season is going to be an FBI investigation. Tony did mention Rico way back. I think in the pilot he mentioned Rico, which I'm familiar with because of Sons of Anarchy. which I'm representing right now. Go SOA. So yeah, good episode. Obviously, I'm not that like I'm not like freaking out about this one or anything, but really, it's just because it was such a laid-back, chill episode. I really, really liked this one. Like I said, Tony made me laugh a lot. There's some really nice moments with him just being a guy and being worn down by all the things in his life. And there's this nice scene where he tells, I think it's his Jewish buddy at the end of the episode, he tells his Jewish buddy, like, let Uncle Junior be the goddamn boss. Like, I don't want it. And I believe him. Like, I don't think it's just, like, a subtle power play, like a la House of Cards or anything. I don't think Tony wants to be the boss. I think he enjoys just doing what he does and making money in his various ways. And I like the fact that the what do you call it? The psychiatry subplot, if you will, the idea of Tony going to see a shrink, it actually is helping in a weird way. Maybe that's why I like Tony more. He seems happier, even though he's still stressed out. Like, his relationship with his wife's a little bit screwed up, but they have a lot of screwed up history. But just in general, he doesn't seem nearly as, I don't know, distant with other characters, and therefore distant with an audience, because we get to know him and how he interacts with the other characters. So, I like the fact that the psychiatry subplot is actually moving forward. I like seeing Lorraine Bracco sexualized a bit, because I always thought she was very, very attractive, and it makes sense that Tony's very attracted to her. It's not just this very basic, like, I'm a guy and she's sexy thing. But, you know, it's a TV show for guys, I think. So it's nice to see some nice sexualized imagery for her. She's really sexy. It's nice to see her playing that and not being scared of it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see how Tony and Carmela and their relationship develops, because it ends with those two having a nice conversation, and he says something where he's like, she says, I want to be the person in your life that can care for you. And Tony says, Carm, you're not just part of my life. You are my life. And again, it felt really sincere, and I'm buying the love story, if you want to call it a love story. So essentially, just Tony as a character, I see all the various facets of him now, and I'm liking them all, and they're all ringing true. So the show's getting pretty good. I'm still not in love with it. I don't think it's one of the best shows of all time yet, you know. Watching it this far into the first season, obviously, which is not very much, I'm not, like, punching myself in the arm, like, oh, I can't believe I waited so long to watch this. So it's taken a while to get it to warm up. I'm hoping that it starts to go, like, crazy, fantastic soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the last episode. That's all I'm going to say about this episode. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode, which I can't remember the name of again. But this was Pax Soprana, which I think was a nod to the idea of, like, Caesars and the Roman hierarchy, and this is a great scene between Tony and Junior about how, you know, the best Caesars shared their wealth. So it's getting a little more literary, a little more intellectual. So yeah, I like this episode. That's all I'm going to say. A little bit rambly this time. So see you next time. TTFN.